Okay. Jeff, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you just fine.
All right.
Okay, let me just put Jeff. Okay,
Thank you, Kate.
so the first thing on the agenda is public comment.
That's the first thing. Yeah,
That's the first
that's
thing.
right. That's the first thing. I have 3 minutes.
Okay, and just let me clarify, the LMD, the Lake Management District 1, is charged with
Oh, hello.
treating the Eurasian milfoil as an invasive material, plant
Correct,
material.
correct.
So that is the focus, and that's where our assessments come from, and that's what they're for.
Fully understood.
Okay, so just to make sure that everybody understands what the LMD is.
Yes,
charged with. Okay.
I'm not here to chastise
no,
any
no.
of you. I'm here looking for allies,
Oh.
as is Murray and Don.
Okay,
And I have a 3-minute spiel here.
Okay.
Maybe you want to copy it, or I'll just read it. I'll read it and give it to you.
Can I ask who the?
I'm
who's
a
there?
resident. I live on the western end of American Lake, right by the entrance to the VA,
Yeah, okay.
Your name again, Stan?
Dan Kovar. I live next door to the condos where Murray and Don live, in the old Stroh house. Old man Stroh, the airplane guy, Jim
Oh,
Stroh,
yeah. Yeah, okay.
9828 American Avenue.
And then Weston, who all's there? I mean, am I the only one by Zoom, I assume?
Yep.
So far, yes.
Okay.
So, obviously Katie Foster, engineering technician with the city.
Good afternoon, Weston Ott, city engineer for City of Lakewood and board member on ALMD.
Rich Martinez, board member. Through today.
Through today, into today.
and
Kurt Spingath, I am a new board member starting today.
And Kate, you're there. Okay, thank you.
yes, I'm here. So, public comment, you're,
She took it.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to read it? Would you like to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were just, my apologies.
Yeah, just-
I just moved here and I went to the Lakewood Improvement Committee meeting. And there
American
were,
Lake Improvement Club.
yeah, and
Yes.
there were upset feelings there about low lake levels.
Oh,
and
wow.
stuff. Some people were pretty vocal about it. You know, I heard chitter chatter in the back that the same thing happened the previous year. So there's anger and frustration that this ongoing issue has not been dealt with, when it seems so simple and it would be very beneficial. It's undisputed that it would help, and it would cost nothing for the lake level to be run at the designed height of 233 feet in the spring. So what I say here is there are photographs verifying that at some point after 2012, the county began lowering the elevation of the lake from 233 feet to 231 feet around each Labor Day, which makes no sense because the lake drops below 228 feet through the summer. So come fall, it's 228 feet. So they take boards out down to 231 feet. Nonsensical. Then when the rainy season comes, we are losing what would be 800 million gallons of water to the sound that could otherwise have infiltrated into the aquifer. In '79, the county signed a 50-year contract with the Corps of Engineers, giving them the authority to, quote, monitor and maintain. I emphasize monitor and maintain, not control. Their responsibility is to make sure that the outflow structure does not get clogged up with logs or the embankments erode by rain. Their only responsibility in that contract is to monitor and maintain. It is not to control dam height. I can't find anyone in the county who can explain to me where that authority came from and why they do the nonsensical thing that they do. They independently have decided that the correct lake level in the spring should be 231 feet and 228 feet in the fall, and then rise back to 231 through the winter and then fall again. Whereas the design of the outflow structure that was installed in 1956 was for the lake level to be at 233 feet. They won't let it get there. There have been no flood events in the 50+ years since that 233-foot concrete curbing has been put in the overflow structure. It is presumed that the reason the county does what they do is they're worried about being sued by some flood event. So their overcautious approach is harming the lake, the surrounding bodies, and the aquifer. So it's not just lake level, it's the effect that it has on Eurasian milfoil, cyanobacteria, as well as the ability of local people to use the lake. You can't put a boat in the water or take a boat out of the water from October to December because the boat launches are too low. People have had to pay to extend their docks, pay to move their boat lifts out into further water. At low water levels, they're bouncing their floats on the bottom of the lake, damaging them. Propellers are being torn up. The lake should be allowed to run at 233 feet. This overcautious approach is harming not just water quantity, but water quality. It's undisputed that a higher lake level through the summer would have a positive effect on the lake. I can't get anyone from the county to even acknowledge that what they do doesn't make sense. If the lake level is 229.5 feet, why put boards in to up to 233? And then just when the lake could rise, why pull those boards out? It just makes no sense to me. And all the science says that the aquifer benefits, the people benefit if it's allowed to run as it was designed in 1956. So I want this board to help with the Corps of Engineers and the county to get them to explain what they do and try and justify it, which I don't believe they can, so we can return the lake in the spring to the designed intended height of 233 feet. Period.
Thank you. Someone like Janet?
Sure.
Thank
So the LMD, the Lake Management District, you guys are charged with the quality, lake quality, and in that you are, treating the milfoil. And I think the RCW will allow for a little expansion on water quality. If we look at even at just milfoil, with the lower levels, the light's going to reach farther. That's going to expand the milfoil. So I think this lake level could be something that the board could come alongside and say, we support getting the water up.
And staying within our,
Yeah.
Within your mission.
our mission
I
with,
really think that. I
with
think
controlling
there's like
milfoil.
0.4 of the mission of a lake management district allows some more latitude. So maybe just look at the RCW, is it 31 or remember the number? Remember RCW what, Don?
RCW 36-61
Yes.
says essentially the reason for the formation of a lake management district is to satisfy the people who live around the lakes, public use, private use of the lake without damage or injury.
Right. So I think you would be within your mission to look at the quality. This is a quality issue. The quantity affects the quality, definitely. So.
And it's more than just the milfoil. I guess you guys aren't concerned with cyanobacteria.
When we formed the Lake Management District, it was specifically focused on invasive weeds, and milfoil was the one that we had. We have others around like the,
So can we say, when you say invasive weed, can we say filamentous
We could.
algae? Can
No.
we say cyanobacteria?
no, well, we can't, the filamentous algae is not invasive. It is a natural occurring,
What about cyanobacteria?
cyanobacteria is a invasive in a way, it's a water quality issue. We were talking about, it's not an invasive weed. So invasive weeds, we focused on the Eurasian water milfoil with the ability at a future date to amend to add other things like other invasives. Or you could actually use the clams,
Yellow flag iris?
no, the clams.
So
Mussels and clams. So, and yellow flag iris is all around the lake as well.
Right.
So, I mean, there's an opportunity, but I'm not sure. And Weston, you can tell me, remind me of this because it's been a while since I've been involved with this from the formation. But it seems to me that we needed to be able to get through this 10 years to be able to change it, or can we amend it at another time before then?
Yeah, so actually I brought all the formation documents with me today and I brought all the documents related to the Weir outfall. But we'll go ahead and get through public comment and then if the board so chooses, we can add that
Yeah.
to new business to discuss. But you are correct, the board is solely focused on milfoil for
Right.
American Lake.
Right.
There's also a
As currently
temporal-
written.
There's also a temperature effect. If the lake goes up to 233, it won't be as warm and the milfoil won't be as happy.
So, I just a point of clarification on the water level and timing. And I've told the county this is that the inflow and outflow peaks between March and the middle of May. Our peak usually is about the middle of April and it stays that way till the middle of May, then it starts falling off. When we are already spilling at over 231 in March, that's a problem. And so just to tell you that, yeah, you've identified a good problem that we need to work on, but just the fact that taking those boards, putting the board in makes no sense on Memorial Day because the water is already below 231 by that point.
All 800 million gallons of it
Yeah.
gone to the south.
So we just we're not capturing the extra 2 feet that we're supposed to.
A good analogy that Don gave me was the lake, it's an open well.
Yeah.
The 90+ feet bottom of it actually extend down into the top aquifers. It's not just a lake, it's a well.
Yeah.
So if the lake level is down, the aquifer level is down. People don't have septic systems anymore. The Corps of Engineers has dug canals that dump Lake Sequalichu right into the sound. We're pumping more water up. There's a back nine on the VA golf course now. I point, is it over there? On the VA golf course now that uses millions of gallons a year, the draw on the aquifer is such that the infiltration is reduced at a time where for the last, nobody can tell me, 15 years, 25 years, we've let all that 800 million gallons flow out.
I know it hasn't been consistent because we've had some good levels above 233 in the recent past. So they have not been consistent in taking those boards out.
No,
So we
they,
don't-
they have been. The only reason it's that high is because the overflow structure has kept it there. As far as I know, the county has been pulling those boards for decades. That's what
And I
they
don't
say.
want to argue with this because we have some other
Well,
issues.
Yeah.
Point of clarification
Just
on
a
this.
second, just a second, Jeff. I think that this discussion, have too many entities. We don't have anybody from the county here and lake people are expressing their concerns. So we note that the
Absolutely.
concerns are noted and we will figure out how to deal with that as a board.
Okay.
But if anybody else wants to have some public.
Just a quick one. Mark Shoemaker of the county declined to have a representative attend this meeting. And he said that maybe in the future we'll send people to the meetings.
Well, that's good.
So
Well, I think
it will take you folks going to them.
Right, and I think that even with the backing of the city council, I mean, there's other ways to
Yeah.
enforce or at least encourage. So does anyone else have?
I'll just add on to what Janet said. I'm Murray Rouse.
Okay.
With next to Don and Stan. As Janet said, if you look at the RCW, if you can try to expand your focus, I would hate to see the Lake Management District. Number one, the advisory board just be looking at Lake Weed. That seems so narrow. but to expand the focus on quality and how it involves the lake level. So try to expand that horizon.
We have the 10-year commitment. And so we need to look to see what that commitment really is identifying.
Yeah, we
And
can,
if we can expand it, we can. I know that the Lake Management District will never go away. We will always have an assessment. We have to look at the cost of the assessment. Does it go up? Does it go down? If dealing with different issues. So if we've got more issues on the table, then that's what we're gonna have to deal with, and we're gonna have to acknowledge that. So that's my perspective. I speaking for myself as a board chairman.
Jeff,
But-
did you, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just wanted Jeff to be able to speak his,
Yeah,
comment.
I have a few points of clarification. I was also involved in the setting up of this Lake Management District. One thing Kate just said, this Lake Management District sunsets after 10 years and has to be voted upon to be renewed. So it's not guaranteed it will continue. The wording for what the Lake Management District would do was voted upon by the public. And therefore, we can look into whether it can be amended, but it could be that it requires a public vote to amend it, or it could be that it has to wait till a public vote occurs for any kind of extension of it to be able to modify the terms. It was set up to, the wording is to go after invasive aquatic plants. So not just Eurasian milfoil, although that was the main thing of concern at the time. We decided not to broaden it to invasive animals or other things of like that, like nutria that have affected people around the lake, including at my property, because we wanted to be more encouraged that the public would vote it in to go after a specific problem
exactly right.
than to be too general and go after more issues, including water quality issues that might affect the lake. Whereas I'm certainly, as a private person, not might be encouraged to expand it. Western and the city will have to look at the legal ways that it could be expanded, and if it can be expanded prior to the end of 10 years. The other thing I would say regarding the milfoil positioning, and Janet certainly is, and Kurt are much more experts in this field than I am. If the lake level stays low, the positioning of the milfoil shifts from the higher water to the
Yes.
lower water. It probably doesn't expand in area. It's probably deeper now because the lake level's lower, but it doesn't mean that it has covering more of the bottom probably than it was before when the lake level was higher. It would be nice for other reasons to see the lake level higher, but we're going to have to take a look at whether that actually ties into a reason that it's affecting milfoil spread in the lake, to tie it to this, the purpose of this group. I do think that this is a lake-wide issue that the city or in another forum might be very appropriate to chase, but we'll have to look carefully at what we're allowed to do as part of the Lake Management District, because it was voted in very specific for invasive aquatic plants to be able to hopefully pass it and have it be in existence in the first place. Those are my comments.
So just another comment on that. As the Lake Management District, we can advocate as a group to the county to say, hey, look into this. That's kind of what Stan's asking us to do. And if anybody has any problems with that, then we could talk about that as well. So
I'd like to speak as a private citizen who has property on American Lake. It's been in my family since 1909.
What's your name?
My name is Don Russell. And essentially, I have sent many, many messages to the city of Lakewood, to the Department of Ecology, the Department of Natural Resources. And essentially, we have a serious water quality control program in Pierce County and specifically in the city of Lakewood. Lakewood was named for lakes. It was named for Gary Oakes. And essentially, the city has neglected its management responsibility of Wahop Lake seriously. It is neglected to go ahead and fund essentially a volunteer water quality program in American Lake, which started in 2000, and the city cut it off at 2023. I'm pretty pissed off because essentially I've been at this for 35 years when essentially American Lake was the largest lake in Western Washington that had a wintertime toxic algae bloom. We still have toxic algae blooms every winter in American Lake. We've never addressed the problem. The idea of focusing on water milfoil is just too narrow a focus for a city that's supposed to be taking care of the citizens' desire to be able to recreate in safe public access waters. Stillicum Lake is screwed up, Bradley Lake is screwed up, American Lake is screwed up, Carp Lake goes dry. You people are not doing your job as far as I'm concerned, so to hell with you. I'm leaving. Let's go.
I'm his driver.
So, you know,
I can't go without you. But
so
this is
what would be
bullshit.
a positive approach to this would be to be able to give advice as to how we
What do
can.
I sue when my
Okay.
boat is crashed because I can't get it into the boat? I can't get it off the boat launch without damaging my trailer. My bulkhead is crumbling. This is crazy. You people don't do a damn thing about managing
I
lakes.
think it might be helpful to have the city council, hear your perspective.
Oh, the city council is a rubber stamp for the state.
I've sent
Have you
numerous,
made the presentation to city council?
I've sent numerous emails.
You don't get a
to
response.
To Jesse Whalen. He said, we'll look into it. A month later, have you looked into it? No, we're going to look into it. He forwarded one to you. He has no interest, as far as I can tell, in taking the time.
The city
The
is,
contract with the Corps of Engineers ends in 2029. What's going to happen then?
the city of Lakewood has spent $620,000 on Wahop Lake, and it is a waste lake. It's a waste lake. It's just all screwed up. You people don't know what the hell you're doing.
Ask the mayor in 2029, what happens? And then I also ask you, can't we just leave the dam boards in place this fall? We got 90 days to argue that that should be done. The clock is ticking. Thank you. Thanks, Sam. I'd stay, but
Okay, so don't let him drive by himself.
or walk.
Still like to friendly way. Advocate for your assistance,
So,
to advocate for what I think we all think is a win-win situation.
I think you got cut off on your public comments. So if you'd like to give public comment, that's fine, or if you'd like to add, you can at least acknowledge that.
Just would, ask for your assistance as it was originally presented to help advocate for higher lake levels, again, that affect quality of the water. Thank you for that.
Any more public comments?
I think that if you guys can help us move forward and just, obviously you're not gonna be able to fix it. You know, if you can, it's gonna take, it maybe like Jeff said, it may take a vote if you don't know what it's gonna take. But if you just have that, like, it is a good thing that we're pursuing to get the water level fixed and that water quality is important. Beyond just managing for milfoil. Let's partner, you know.
Yeah.
partner.
I think we kind of started a discussion, and I think Rich started this one, the good, bad, and ugly. So we need to start putting a program together because we're looking at year 6.
Yes.
And we have, so we need to start building our case so
Yeah.
that we can.
Yes.
But I thought Rich had a really good idea about the good, the bad, the ugly. And it seems like there's more to that than I ever realized.
Mhm.
Since we don't have a dock and we don't have a boat, and you don't think of things. But I know water quality is a big issue, so I think that's something that we're gonna have on a future agenda for developing a really good statement
Oh, that'd be good.
for the website.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotta be on the website because we've got to get people interested on the lake to start looking at the issues, not just someone else is gonna take care of it. It's us that's taking care of it. We're paying 77 cents
Right.
a lineal foot at this point. I bet it's gonna be going up a lot because there's too many issues. But anyway, that's for another case.
So what was the good, the bad, the ugly?
Oh, that's just the way we look at what is invasive, what good things have happened, what bad things have happened, what we can't address. That's how Rich kind of, I think that's basically how you looked at it. So, you know, have we had success in the past couple of years? We've had very little success because the water it's just been in and out and in and out, and docks are, you know, beached and you know what.
I think the good and the bad, the ugly was, the focus was on weed types, I think. So milfoil, bad weed. There's natural weeds that you may not like, the ugly, but
Oh,
they're,
I see.
but, or there's positive weeds
Right.
to the lake,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
the
like
good, the bad, the ugly. can also be
Yellow
applied.
flag is an ugly weed. Yeah, so I mean, there's other ways to look at it. And then, you know, having pictures and
Yeah.
have photographs of things. I think it's really important to have a visual so that
Right.
people understand, not everybody's a horticulturist, not everybody's knowledgeable in water quality,
Right,
but we need to draw on our expertise.
right.
Yeah.
Are you guys have the website and then how do you, it's a question for you. How do you decide your content for the website? I mean, you have your list of the minutes and things like that. Do you have an education tab or people could send in questions or do you have anything like
Yeah,
that?
currently what's on the website is a reflection of what the board has suggested as well as what staff have suggested,
Mhm.
you know, which is primarily formation and there's things, the board added like reports, there's even invoices. These are different things. that
Maps,
the
yeah,
board-
maps.
The maps.
In the maps,
Yeah.
the surveys.
Yeah,
That's really
And the
good.
new areas.
create as much transparency of
exactly.
the
Right.
activities of.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's great.
So based on the RCW that created.
Right,
So
right.
within those confines, to create as much transparency and reciprocate engagement.
Yeah. Would it be against your mission to have a statement like we support? That you would be supported or we would support
I
water
think it-
quality that stay narrow on just the weed?
We're commissioned to support a certain activity, a
Yeah.
defined activity, so playing that playground is where
Okay.
the,
Hey,
I'm just
Weston, can
thinking-
I have a point of clarification? Weston,
Yeah, I'm right here.
when this went to a vote, did it go to a vote of all Lakewood residents or did it go to a vote of only the shoreline owners of?
Just shoreline.
Shoreline.
Only the owners and I will admit that was before I was in my current position. I believe it was done by mail.
It was.
correct.
Yes.
It's just, it was.
So if, say, the American Lake Improvement Club contacted all the shoreline owners and could get a majority of people that would support what you're talking about, would that provide the city an opportunity to potentially put forward an amendment to the LMD?
So Jeff, while during public comment, I was reviewing the formation documents and I didn't find a specific clause that discussed, you know, some sort of an amendment. So I would just simply send a quick message to our legal and ask them to help me with that point of clarification.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the RCW that was referenced allows a lake management district to form, and there's a number of things the lake management district can do. And as you mentioned earlier, when this one was formed, what was narrowly focused on was invasive weeds, and we've targeted milfoil. And that's where we find ourselves today. That doesn't mean other things couldn't be pursued. The RCW allows that, and that's what that gentleman that was emailing in the springtime when he was lobbying the state was talking about, wanting to make some changes to that. That was contacting you, Kate, had to do with that, with some changes to the law. So anyways, I would have to check with legal if the current advisor or the current LMD can make a change beyond what it's listed in its mission,
Yeah.
I can ask that question. At the
Okay.
same time, I would just caution the board that the assessment is 66 cents a lineal foot every year for 10 years. There's no escalation in cost. So that generates roughly $23,800, of which I believe it's about $2,700 a year pays back the loan that was incurred at formation to give the board its seed money to start with. And that doesn't count that the grant funds that we had got at the formation through ecology to also help supplement the treatment at the first year. So.
Right.
So anyways, with all that said, we're jumping around the agenda. So I think I'd like to maybe finish up public comment and then, and again, the public's more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. And I would also like to maybe ask Madam Chair if I could give just a brief update maybe on the outfall. It's not on the
Yeah.
agenda, but
Do you want to do minutes first or?
I just have
Yeah.
two more comments to make. One is a compliment. I want to thank Mr. Ott for helping with the milfoil control. Because I specifically was able to email him on some,
but I'm
area.
gonna defer to thank Katie.
well,
Katie.
you,
keeps
you
the-
got it
the
done.
list,
You were
but,
my
well,
contact. So thank you, Katie, because that was very effective and we had a real problem around our dock area and it was retreated. So thank you so very much for that. And then I'm just wondering if, Kurt, could you be our liaison with, keeping us informed on what you all find out from the legal team and
But
how things.
between the Lake Management District and the American Lake
Yeah.
Improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
could
so
you be
that's
our-
one of the nice things of
Yeah.
having Kurt on this board is because you have that,
That would be
that
helpful.
tie.
So we appreciate you taking it up, really do. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I do. Thank you.
Well,
Okay.
if you want to know more about the outfall,
The part that's.
Yeah, he's gonna tell us.
yeah,
Oh, I would like to
The
hear
record.
about that.
yeah, so.
But
Public
the
comment.
But
chair-
I want to make sure
30.
public comment is over and if you're okay with me talking about that.
Yes,
just for a
Weston.
minute. And I wasn't prepared to, make a presentation or anything on the outfall, but just a couple of things at a very high level. One, the outfall's outside of city limits. It's not in the
It's
city. of
Port Louis
Lakewood.
property.
It's
Yes,
on
yeah,
Port Louis
yeah.
property. The reason for it was because of flooding, ironically.
Yes,
And-
exactly.
And so I have all the documents here. I'm willing to share if you want to look at them in the hall and just drop
Yeah.
the folder back in.
We kind of suspect that Pierce, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't mean to take up more
That's
time,
fine.
but I don't know that, Pierce County, they know where the boards are, but I don't even know if they know where that outflow is.
No, they
Just-
know very well.
Oh, they do?
They know
Okay.
all about it.
Okay,
They're required to submit a report to the Army Corps every
okay,
year.
okay,
Um,
gotcha.
And the outfall itself does some of the control. So I guess the
Yeah.
question is, I haven't had a chance to be out on American Lake this year. Has
Yeah.
anyone gone down to the outfall?
Yeah, we
Is
did.
the water up to the outfall or is it?
Not at
out-
all. There's a huge,
Yeah,
grassy kind of field.
in
before
front
you-
of it.
Before you get to
And
that,
has it been that way most of the year?
So,
that I don't know.
yeah, so the water level at the weir where the boards are is below, it's almost to rock.
And
So,
Correct.
last year I went out to an improvement club meeting and they had a representative from Pierce County there to talk about it and he gave a presentation. So,
yeah.
so they are knowledgeable
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So our understanding is they were supposed to make sure that outflow area was clear, that was what the contract addressed. So we were just out there about a month ago and hacked away a bunch of the blackberry stuff and whatnot.
I didn't hear
And,
that.
and there's an old road, as you face south, I think there's an old road, you can see where the tracks were. That we finally figured out how to get to that outflow, because if you walk through the middle of the field, you're up to grass over your head. But up on the side of that field is an old road, you go to the very end of it and there's a short trail that takes you right to that big cage thing, the outflow. And it looks like it hadn't been cleared at all for probably a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the December 2024 outfall or the report by Pierce County
Yeah.
that they submitted.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Thank you.
We can just pass these around here a little bit. see, this one is predated that.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
the,
This is
Yeah.
the,
We're talking about.
yeah, this is the maintenance operation. Yeah, that
Yeah.
cage, I think was put in for, so we'll go backwards in time.
Yeah.
And feel free to pass these around to
Cage
everyone.
off.
okay.
That goes to supply chain.
And the Pierce County information is public, correct?
Yeah, all this is public and this is all public records. So if you were to want, we could scan it. I've thought about putting this somehow on the city website. The problem is it's not germane to the board,
Right.
to the we.
We get that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't,
It would
yeah,
Maybe confuse the
But
picture. Yeah.
we get a lot of comments, lots of comments. And so we've talked to this at the legal level, at the council level, city manager level. So going back in time, here's Pierce County's, like, I believe you can get this on their website and it has Ted Hill's contact on here. So
You're talking about
Yep.
this one.
yeah, yes. So if you wanted to talk to somebody, Ted Hill is the person, and the city did talk with Ted Hill this spring, because county asked the city if we would take it over. Well, it's outside city limits. It's,
Yeah.
if you take it over, it's not just weir boards, it's, you take over everything.
All the
And
way out to Lake Squamish.
yeah, and I'll show you that coming up here. This was my first, when this first came up back in, 2023, Doug Thompson, this was his email to me, about it.
So yeah, JB on that. I don't know.
No, he's Pierce County.
Can you summarize what Doug said?
Yeah, and he basically said, the outfall controls, the lake level as much as those boards.
Absolutely. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't realize that. Absolutely. Yeah.
This was about 2012. It was a slide out of, presentation county had made that city staff attended. So that kind of gives you a high level
Okay.
overview.
So what was the date on the letter from the Pierce County guy?
Yeah, and again, I'll pass
2023.
this all around. You guys can look at it because I want full disclosure on this.
No, thanks.
So then
Yeah.
the agreement that
Yeah.
was talked about for 2002 for the number of years, that's really only talking about the easement access. Here's the actual agreement.
Okay.
It goes all the way back to the maintenance manual of 1961. It includes the
Yeah.
letter from the county engineer, I believe in 57.
Right. I think this
That
is the one that
accepted it.
Stan has put on the website or on our
Yeah.
emails. This is the same
That's,
one.
that's the maintenance manual. In some of those documents, either 79 or 2002, it's I think it was 79, modified the reporting requirements of the county to be less. But again,
Yeah.
you gotta put yourself back into the 50s. So we're
No,
going
I
back.
know. I know,
It was
exactly, right?
actually flooding, and what's happening pre, that time, people's basements, docks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it was becoming,
That's from the county.
yeah, it was
Anyways,
becoming a
Yeah,
real
but
issue.
it
Yeah.
was totally
I understand, but I'm just telling
misrepresenting.
you what
That-
I
that's
have from the city
Yeah.
standpoint. So here's the actual
Here's the
county
problem.
ordinance that started the, or that, put this agreement into
Wow.
place.
Yeah, I remember seeing a letter with this Harry Sprinkler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so then here's the plans that have the, like lake level history.
Right.
So
Right.
there's those, you probably have seen those.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're spot on with that outflow truck. That really is the
Did
main
you
thing
just
to
make that up?
control the flooding part of
Could
this.
have.
And then I think
Yeah.
these
Could have been
articles.
a rumor in the office.
Actually, I think Don had given those to Greg Biggerin at some
Okay.
time in the past, so there's those there.
Yeah.
So just
Give the impression.
from your opinion, yeah.
Did you want to see any of this?
Yeah, we'll put all this together. for you.
Yeah. Where would a good
you done?
advocacy avenue be?
Yeah, so I mean,
What do you think?
really,
Do that question I'm asking
The
for,
county.
where would, I'm asking Weston, what is his idea of where a good advocacy avenue would be for us?
you can imagine from the city standpoint, or one, a lake, that's a great thing. But one, is it physically even possible, whether you put boards in or not? That's the other
It's
thing.
obvious that you take the boards out, we have low lake level.
Yeah, exactly,
Leave the boards in, we don't have flooding.
correct,
That's just a fact.
yeah. So to answer your question though, I mean, I don't see a reason why the county would not advocate for the residents. I mean,
Right.
not the county, the council would, but I'm not gonna speak for the
Okay.
council. But really the issue is Pierce County's required to maintain that. They
Under
wrote,
contract.
they said they would. And
Right,
even that document dated 2002, it doesn't let them out of it.
right.
They're still, that's talking about the easement, Army Corps could just change the easement and give it to them for another, whatever,
They
20,
could.
30
They could.
years.
Easily.
Yeah.
So
So
council
really,
is probably where we want to go.
you could go to city council, but again, that's outside of city limits. It's a county requirement or county agreement on
Yeah.
JBL property,
Yeah.
pre-incorporation. So a lot of people have put their angst towards the council, but
No, but
it's
really
not
the
the-
county is the one that's doing this. And,
Correct.
and they don't seem to be willing to say, oh, you're right. The contract says we really shouldn't have anything to do with the boards.
Right.
Because it's really the outflow area that
Yeah.
they're,
right.
that's in that contract. So they're not really abiding by the contract.
And I did look through that 61 manual. I didn't see anything related to maintaining lake level. It's all about don't let the lake get above 233.
Right, which is where the boards are set.
Correct. And then the only other thing I'd caution you on is
Yeah.
there's multiple datums. There's the 1929 vertical datum and the 1988 vertical datum. And I don't know what Army Corps would have used
Sure.
at that time.
Sure,
So if you're
sure.
gonna try to start measuring stuff around the lake, be careful. I
Yeah,
would just,
for sure.
I would use the outfall as your 233 and
Yeah.
then compare that to the rest. But, my way of thinking is if the water hasn't even got to the outfall, then it really is a moot point. You can put all the boards you want.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Timing of the board.
Timing of the
Yeah.
board.
Timing the board. So here's the
Leave the
difference, like Lake Steilacoom, the agreement's dated 1941 and it has hard and fast dates when they put those boards in and out.
Mm.
And that's actually done by the Lake Steilacoom Improvement Club.
There you go.
But
Right,
there is
right.
dates in an agreement that
yeah.
says you'll have this many boards.
Sure.
And they actually email ahead of time, hey, just let you know that on this date, we're gonna change these boards.
Maybe we get CE involved. It's just hypothetical. Civil engineering
Oh,
at Fort Lewis, JBLM, they're.
Well, that's what I was hoping they would be here. So
Yeah.
Todd is on the board.
Right, so to get them
That's-
involved and get them talking with Pierce County to say, hey, what you really need to be doing.
Right.
And then,
Good idea.
yeah. So it's so sometimes it feels a little bit like, hey, my neighbor's doing something, but I'm getting in trouble for it, with
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
with the
Oh,
lake
yeah.
level.
Especially when Don.
Well,
jumped in, but-
yeah, I understand, but I understand that.
Apologize for that. Yeah.
There's no reason to
got,
apologize.
I got two quick
He's
comments.
good hearted. Yeah.
Okay, Jeff?
Yes, Jeff.
One, Weston, incredibly organized information on that. I'm very impressed. Just want to give you a compliment. for
Well,
how
thank you. I
the
talked to
organization
legal
is.
too.
Good job.
Second thing is,
Yeah.
you just mentioned that Lake Steilacoom, the Lake Steilacoom Improvement Club has taken over management. When I
Correct.
attended last year, the American Lake Improvement Club presentation by the Pierce County guy, he said Pierce County's looking for somebody to take that over when when their agreement with
Yeah, I
the
know.
fort, and the fort doesn't want it, so.
He
If
said
you
I
want
would
to
be
step
glad to
forward
turn
as an
it over
improvement
now.
club, you might be able to
Yeah.
convince the county to let you
So be
do it.
careful when somebody's trying to give it
Yeah.
for free though.
So, Jeff, do you think we
Like the whole
could,
downstream
us as the
structure,
American Lake
you would have
Improvement
to
Club, to
maintain.
form a little bit of a
Subcommittee?
It's not just
committee
the
to,
boards.
yeah,
Yeah.
a subcommittee to go talk to civil engineering and see if we could begin the process of taking something like that over?
So Todd on
I
our
bet
board is
if
the
you
person.
could
to
get,
talk to.
Todd.
Yeah.
if you could get, say, at least 50%,
He could
maybe
tell you who to
40%
talk to.
of the shoreline owners of the lake
Yeah, well, good.
to
Yeah,
sign a
I think
petition
We haven't heard back yet.
to do what you want, and I've got access to 25 of them, and you've got
Yep.
access to, I don't know how many. If you can
300.
get a Petition where you can show that you've got a large percentage of the American Lake shoreline owners
Right.
wanting
That's
this
a
to
good idea.
occur, and take that to both the county and the fort, you could probably
Yeah.
convince them to do it.
Good idea, isn't it?
Okay,
Potential
Well, at least
costs,
that's a potential, you could do that.
right.
Yeah, good idea.
potential upkeep costs. I think that's another thing to keep in mind.
So one other just off the cuff suggestion is, the other thing is maybe get a group of lake residents go with the county when they do the maintenance and walk the whole thing and let them explain how the system works. And then you have a core group of lake residents that are in the improvement club on the board. Then you can, you know, let other people know what's going on, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
Totally
but-
agree.
You know, contact Ted Hill and say, hey, next time you guys go walk this, or can we schedule a Friday and go walk this thing? Let's hear from the actual maintenance folks. Cause I'll be honest with you, I have this document, but I can't tell you exactly how it functions. I can read the engineering
Right.
plans, but,
Yeah.
it's another thing to go kick the dirt,
Absolutely.
go look at the
Right,
boards.
absolutely.
And then maybe you can ask the county and say, well, could you just leave the boards in?
That's what we're trying to ask.
That's what I'm trying to do.
But-
That's the
But the
bottom
only
line
thing I'm
for us.
concerned about is you leave the boards in, but if it doesn't make a difference on lake level.
Well, we hope it will, because we've heard there's
That-
spillover, is that
Right.
correct? Kurt?
Well,
In the spring, sometimes there's spillover
Yeah.
that would.
Yeah, there is spillover. We've gone down.
So, I've seen the boards.
Capture that.
Yeah. Maybe
Stand,
take a picture of it.
stands that I was wrong, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Is that the boards had been left in for several years.
Yeah,
They didn't take them out every year.
right,
The
okay.
years that they left in, that's when I was there at that spillover.
We have
Right.
pictures. We do.
And
Wonderful.
the staff gauge was at 234.1. And we're
below
getting
the-
spillover.
Yeah.
I went over that spillover with my kayak back into
That field,
that field,
Yep.
which was full of water.
yeah. But it probably wasn't in the overflow area, was it? It wasn't over the,
Well, it went down, all we could do is go back to where that standpipe is.
yeah, that's the overflow.
Yeah, so that's,
Funnel.
yeah, so that's it, that's the other level that it has,
Exactly.
that is the controlling factor.
Right, so,
Exactly.
so any board you would put on the lakeside may not have anything to do with it, is what I'm kind of getting at.
No,
That's
Well, no,
No.
because you hold it in at the 233, it'll spoil over at
That's the top
234.
of the.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Exactly.
then,
So,
because it's a narrow,
It would
it's
take
only
a
12 feet wide.
biblical flood to pretty much push all that water through that field and up into that drain.
Right.
right.
So it is possible to keep a 233 with the boards in.
Right.
But we're not gonna get 235, we're not gonna get.
No, we're
238.
not shooting for
We're
that.
not gonna have flooding,
That-
and that's the point
Right.
of those boards
Right,
being in,
exactly
to
right.
control that height.
Exactly right.
And the agreement said that they essentially tried to keep the lake under 233 or under
right.
was what they were trying
Exactly,
to
right.
accomplish, so.
Which is
So
33 at least.
I think we should let them get to their.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
weed
Well,
killing, but
really
let's,
hope,
right.
Let's form a committee.
We'll be happy to share anything we
Yeah,
have,
very hopeful.
but I just hope the message is out there. It's outside the city. The city
Yeah.
really
Well, that
can't
helps.
take it over.
Right.
We've asked that question, but I don't know.
Right.
So going to the
And it-
council is not gonna.
We can go to the
it's not
council,
gonna-
but you're just
Yeah.
telling people
It's
that,
probably spinning our wheels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I like
outside of-
Jeff's idea.
Well,
outside the
for the
city.
point of advocacy, the council could help us out.
they can, yeah, exactly. They can
I
have
think
a
that's where it
position.
is.
Okay,
I think that's where it is.
as another
But
voice.
I don't ever expect the city to go and take it over.
No, yeah, no.
Well, cost wise.
Cost-wise.
Yeah,
And
We don't have the.
manpower.
yeah, no, we sure get that.
But if we,
That's
as a
what Ted
committee,
says. They don't have the manpower to do it either.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, we get that. Yeah.
Right, but they signed the agreement.
Yeah,
I know. That's, they put their name on the line.
They
didn't
put their name on the line.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's our bargaining chip. We'll do it for you if you just leave the board
Well,
there.
right, well, maybe you could have a partnership
Yeah. that kind of
where
thing.
they take on the
Right.
maintenance of all the, in
The rest of it.
But you also gotta
Right.
remember the city government is very risk adverse. They don't want
Oh,
anybody
for
to
sure.
get drowned, get
Right.
hurt,
Right.
all that.
Right, right.
So if you get a no, don't necessarily ask them why, not, it could be a risk thing. Cause they're gonna go back and they're gonna talk to legal and they're gonna talk
Right.
to
Yeah.
risk assessment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, thank
So
you.
those are some of the
Well,
things to
you've got my
consider.
email, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, just, if you have
Yeah.
anything else.
Is he
just
right
give
home
me-
with you?
Okay.
Yeah, just leave him there.
You guys are all neighbors, I know.
Well, thank you.
Have a good night. man.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate
it.
And that was
Yeah.
really
You do the
good
meetings
that you have all that and just like.
Just feel free to come back, especially if it's on milfoil, although I know who you can.
It lines
lean
up
on.
with just what we've been
Yeah.
You
looking
can
at.
contact me anytime.
Yeah.
So you can contact
Before-
me anytime you want to.
Yes,
Hey,
Jeff?
before-
Yes, Jeff?
Yeah.
Before Janet leaves, there was
Yes.
something I wanted to raise with this board that Janet maybe would be wise to hear her opinion.
Okay,
Can I do that real quick? Yeah, I know.
sure.
Sure, we've kind of thrown
I
the
think someone-
agenda out.
Yeah.
you know, We'll get to it here in a minute, so.
So I'm a member of the Main Bower Bay Yacht Club where we keep a boat.
Uh-huh.
And there's milfoil around the docks there. There is Aquatechnics is hired by the club and actually hired by the city of Bellevue to control Eurasian milfoil on the parks in the city property, and then they come over and do it at the club. But I was given a copy of what either the contract with them or they do. And it turns out they're not only controlling Eurasian milfoil this year with Priscillicor, but they're also controlling some native aquatic plants with dicot. I didn't know that it was allowed that the native aquatic plants could be controlled in a lake. I didn't know if the
Yes,
state allowed
they
that.
can't, they can't,
Hey,
be if they're
hey,
nuisance.
The,
Kurt, let me, it's my.
go ahead.
If they are a nuisance, okay, you
If
can
they're a
control it if they're
nuisance.
a nuisance, yeah,
And you're limited to how much you can do around a dock.
right. You have, there's a.
You have certain widths you can control.
If
Okay,
you want something to,
Good luck.
to clear it up, get the Fish and Aquatic Plants Handbook, or what's it called? Fish and Aquatic Plants. Ah,
You would
Fish
still
and
have to
Wildlife-
get permitted to do it.
yeah, that's the permit.
You would have to get,
But it has all of the,
Well, no,
I call it-
yeah, there's an NPDES
Yes.
standing permit
Right.
for that type of thing.
Yeah.
well, if Kurt's
So-
on the board, he'll know all that, so we could refer to
yes,
Kurt.
he will.
Yeah.
Yes, all right.
Yeah, I can help you out with that, Jeff.
Have a
All right,
good,
thanks.
See you later, guys.
okay,
okay, I'm gonna put a little time out here. Before we move forward, I just want to acknowledge Rich that he came when he didn't even have to. Thank you so much, Rich, for being on the board. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Been a
Sorry to-
pleasure working with you.
No tequila shot?
No tequila
No.
shots. We're at City Hall, so. But yeah, anyhow, I just wanted to make sure we said that up front. Thank you. Yeah.
okay, unfinished business, approval of draft meeting minutes from
March.
March.
I move to approve those minutes.
Second,
Okay,
All right, anyone opposed? Right, so moved and meeting minutes are approved. So Kate, those will come through in the new format from Brianna where all you have to click is on the email for DocuSign.
okay,
So you don't have to hand sign it.
well, okay, we have to wait till another meeting to.
No, it'll just
No,
come by.
No, no, no,
tomorrow,
no.
tomorrow.
I'm the current chair, but we haven't voted on,
Correct. So while you guys are still in your positions, we'll move to, I just want to make sure we
okay,
acknowledge Rich and then and then Mary as well. So Mary has her last day is Friday the 13th.
oh,
So
Nice day.
she
vicious there.
I let her know she didn't have to be here, so I'm assuming that's why she's not here. So,
Oh, we'll see her tomorrow though.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, and then acknowledging Mary as well. So at this point, since we have the three board lake representatives, and it's probably best, though it's not required, that the lake residents be the chair and the vice chair. Would you three feel comfortable just doing a majority vote? I'll vote as well. Who would be chair and vice chair, and would either Jeff?
Jeff's
Katie-
already told me he doesn't want to be chair or,
All right, so now you guys get an arm wrestle for chair and vice
No.
chair. Is that by de facto? So,
you want to be chair and I'll
No,
be vice? Okay,
No,
I'll be the chair again. let's get it
We'll
done.
vote.
I want to be here for a while before I become chair.
well,
I was
the vice
told when I
chair, you want
joined.
to be Kate's assistant?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
Jeff, are you okay with those nominations?
Yes, I am.
All right, I will call a vote of chair by a quorum of 4 people. Everyone in favor of Kate Reed as chair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Everyone opposed, say nay. Hearing none, Kate Reed is our new chair for the next year for Lake Management District Board number 1. So we'll go through the same process again for vice chair. nomination has been made for Kurt Spingath to be vice chair. We'll take a vote. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, Kurt will be our vice chair for the rest of the year. Elections will be again at the, most likely the first quarter meeting in 2026. Right, is everyone comfortable with that? We wanted to get you before you got away. Now you're really here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think between Janet and me, we're on like 6 different boards.
All right.
All right.
So the agenda, we just put together, I saw Kate, you had the flyer that went out. Did you get it in the mail with your assessment? Has it come to
It
your?
must
house?
have, because I'm looking at, I have not paid my assessment.
Jeff, did you get your assessment in the mail?
Yeah, that was in there. Yeah,
But you, Rich.
I don't know.
I got mine.
I know Rosalind mailed them out on the 4th, but it would have been
I do have it, yes.
I got
300 plus. Okay, I just want to make sure it got mailed out. You can thank, or Kate, we should thank Katie for putting that
Oh.
together, so.
Thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
The only thing is, I would like to make a change to next year's flyer. And instead of having my phone number, I'd like to put the email for contacting for people to report, milfoil, yeah. Because it's a lot easier to get that information and correspond by email, and then Katie summarizes it all. And she'll
But how
have
how do you like to receive that? You with GPS or?
Doc number.
doc number, so.
That's what I did.
Number, and include, nearest dock number or address.
Okay, excellent.
Well, the address is, it's probably moot
This
because.
guy just.
We
We
have
have
a,
the
Oh, you have the,
West Pierce Fire gave us that table.
okay,
so we can look you up by dock number or address and
Okay.
get the corresponding.
But I don't think that's in the formation documents. It's only address in the formation document.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, how we doing on the agenda?
Okay, does anyone else have any questions or comments about the assessment or flyer?
I do
Okay,
not.
next is the spring survey.
Okay.
This
was
is
done
probably gonna be
very
quite
quickly.
lengthy as
It's
well.
gonna be a lengthy conversation. Jeff, I do not have it electronically that I can easily share it with you on the screen.
I can send you documents tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll send it tomorrow.
That's fine.
What I have for the board today is a map of what Terry proposes, Aquatechnics proposes, and then a copy of what he prepared in the 2024 fall survey. Rich, want to look at it first, and then I'll hand it for an option. Yeah. So that's
so did
what's
he do an
proposed.
overlay or is it just two different drawings?
It's
Two
two
different
different drawings.
drawings.
Terry was having some challenges with his Esri software.
Oh,
When he was making the map.
When he was making the
having a
map,
lot
he
of
literally got us information today, so some information today, but I do have the areas and I have estimated costs, and I think is a budget next after that.
It's technically grant status. We don't have budget in here, but spring survey
We do
and,
have it down here, sorry.
yes, it's okay.
So we can get,
Hey, Weston,
we'll
Can I
just
ask you-
talk about the area. Yeah, Jeff,
Yeah.
we're gonna try to turn you up a little bit volume wise here.
so the map that Terry's done from the spring survey, does it show all the areas he found it, or does it just show the areas that he is recommending treatment, or is it overlay one over the other?
Might take this really quick. I might have an idea. Is this the current one? I can
Yeah.
put it up to the
I don't
camera.
need, I
Oh.
don't need to see it. I
Okay.
just was wondering whether he's illustrating everywhere he thinks he found
This
the
is the-
milfoil.
Yeah, so he is, and the thing is, as you saw in the 24, it's right out of the fall survey from 24. He basically had most of the shoreline. What he proposes is very, very similar, so
Okay.
when you see it. But part of what he does in the spring survey,
I'm looking for you color coded it. You said,
oh yeah,
yes.
so yeah.
I was just gonna tell them
You can tell them by color. Yeah, so he
red-
broke it out by who,
Red are the most
who's
critical
responsible
areas,
for
and then
what.
Orange is
Yeah, okay.
secondary.
Yeah.
So, so I'll just read it out loud. For the primary, the thickest milfoil beds, Terry has recommended 36.82 acres to be treated. So about 37 acres. He has a secondary where there's milfoil, and he listed it as if budget allows, and that was 27.55 acres, so about nearly 28 acres. On Camp Murray, which is part of the LMD, so this would be all rolled in the LMD, 3.72 acres. And then on the JBLM VA side, it's about 23 acres, 22.93, so 23 acres. Yeah, definitely.
What was the acreage, 35 on the?
No shot. This is what it would work out dollar wise. What's that? So it's,
So
read it by title.
He said almost 37 on the primary.
Yes,
Yeah.
36.82,
Yeah, so let's just round it up to
37.
37, 28. So you can see the costs. So I'm passing around the cost spreadsheet that literally I was punching this in at 2:00. So it's pretty fresh here. So dollar wise, it comes, this was my first shot.
Yeah.
I gave away both my,
do you want this?
no, that's all right. We're kind of mixing things up here, but
So my
The-
question,
yeah, just real quick for Jeff. The LMD's portion would be $57,876. And again, we're getting a little bit too specific on the accuracy here. And then the JBLM side is 19,490. So about 58,000 and about 20,000 on JBLM.
so
Those are-
compared to 2024,
Right.
obviously, we've seen quite a bloom.
Correct. And for
And
all the
what-
factors we've
what-
talked about, yeah.
Okay, and the percentage of increase from 24 to 25 survey is approximately what?
Oh, boy, I don't know. It looked, I mean, if I had,
Looking at it, it.
I would say at least a third, so.
Yeah.
I
And
I think
thinking
that
about,
could be
Go ahead, Jeff.
misleading. I think that could be misleading because last year Terry told us that his survey techniques, he didn't look as deep, which I think he's looking now. And so
Correct.
I believe he's thought that he had potentially underestimated the amount that was there last year.
That, I think that could be part of it.
Yeah.
So the good news, if we were to treat this amount, that gets some of that deeper milfoil, and if the water's lower down than last year, we might be able to get a little more milfoil caught than maybe you could see normally.
Weston, does the 58,000 cover the primary treatment, the budget if allowed, and the Camp Murray portions?
Yeah, exactly. It covers, that's like what Terry would like to do.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So remember, we talked last year about I tried to get a map of the treatment area versus the map of the survey area. He told me that they were one and the same.
So he does, yeah. He runs the little GPS on the boat with the arms out.
But when I asked for it, I saw that you'd send me a copy of the
I think it was the
survey area.
Survey area.
And I said, well, where's what did they actually treat? So we actually treated everything that was on the survey. That survey did not have this northeast shore on there at all.
Okay, so no, great point of clarification. So there was the spring, so there was the spring survey, that was the fall survey. This one up here was the fall survey
treat
after
this
the treatment.
Spring survey.
They treat off the spring survey. And so he went out, and that's what Jeff's talking about. He used some acoustic equipment to try to look at weed beds. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the difference. There's a spring and a fall survey. We also did some before and after photos. Katie and I did that down at Harry Todd Park. We met
Last
the
year.
boat last year, and there was some milfoil by the docks there at Harry Todd. And the guys came in and they treated it. you know, and if they come in and they put it and they back out, and then Katie went back about a month later. And it was amazing. It knocked that milfoil out. There's no milfoil, but the challenge we have is the weeds are still there, other aquatic weeds.
Oh, yeah.
You can clearly see the milfoil's gone in the before and after. And I think that's some of the perception that we deal with is, well, there's still weeds there. Well,
So I
there
do a lot of
still are
that.
there.
I do a lot of that too, because I get calls
You get
from all around the lake, people, and I get on my boat, I'll go and take a look at it.
Yep.
I get back to them and says, well, what you've got there is the natives left.
Right, and there's even native milfoil.
Yeah, right. And I tell
Yeah.
them that because that's in the western and the, what's the other one? I can't remember. They can be affected by the Priscilla, but our lake seems to be pretty immune to the damage on the native milfoil.
Yeah, that Priscilla course, I'm surprised how targeted it is.
Yeah.
Like it hits milfoil and it only hits milfoil.
But we've seen damage in other areas.
Have you? Okay.
On native milfoils, but American Lake, because I dove that whole lake.
I know you and Janet,
Terrible-
you had
terrible
done
years.
weed pulling for Terry. in the
Right,
past.
exactly. And so we went out and did a boat survey with Terry. And we marked it on in there and I got in there and it was nothing but the native,
Oh, okay.
right off Camp Murray, you know, the old broken dock there.
Yep,
That's where the whole field of native
right,
milfoil was there, right? No, totally untouched.
right. So if we were to do what Terry proposes, I mean, that's a good portion of the lake there.
It is.
Hey, Weston,
Yeah,
did he use, which technique did he use to do the survey this spring? Did he use the same technique as he used in the fall, which identifies aquatic plant area, but makes some assumptions about what is milfoil and what's not? Or did he use the spring technique where he's really identifying the Eurasian milfoil?
yeah. So I'm pretty sure he went out and did a visual survey. I couldn't go with him this year. I got called for jury duty. I was in on portions of over 3 weeks, so I just missed it. Katie, do you have an email from him that says which treatment he used or no?
I don't think so.
No, that's all right. We can I'll follow up with him, Jeff.
Yeah,
But typically he does the visual survey where you wear polarized glasses and you have the rake on a chain and rope and you throw to, if, you know, something looks questionable and you pull it up.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so I'm pretty sure he did a visual survey.
okay, it'd be great to clarify that.
We
And then
can.
What, Rich, or not Rich, one of the things.
Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt, one of the things that I had requested in terms of the fall survey was that he basically, I think we need verification of how well the treatment works. So we can go to the public and say, well, no, it actually did a great job on the Eurasian milfoil. You're seeing the natives like you're talking about. That's why I wanted the fall survey as had been originally built into the plan. But you'd like to see that done with the same technique. So when we have Terry do it in the fall, I'd love to see him use the same technique as he used in the spring. So it's more of a direct comparison.
Yeah, and some of that's gonna be weather dependent as well. That's the problem. If the wind's blowing, I've been out with Terry where we had to stop at, you know, around noon time because you just couldn't see.
Yeah, okay.
So Terry's, and then the other thing maybe to keep in mind, Terry's post-treatment survey is for $750.
Right.
And then his report is 250. So I think we just have to talk with what can we do within that budgeted amount with Terry.
Well, the type of survey he did in the fall is a much more expensive type of survey to run than the spring vision.
So he did
He
that
doesn't
pro
say.
bono.
Yeah,
He didn't charge us last year for that. He was just
Yeah.
demonstrating what he could do.
yeah, he must have. So that was
Yeah.
very nice of him, and I don't have any complaints about that. But just from practical purposes of comparison and cost, just repeating the spring survey would be great.
Yeah, we can definitely maybe sharpen the pencil on what we can and can't do with his budget.
Yeah. So this treatment decision-making is basically entirely dependent on the grant status, I think.
Well, so maybe we should talk money, cause what's that?
This is just from
Yeah,
Joseph.
nothing's changed though, correct?
It's the draft agreement.
Right, but he hasn't changed their dollar amount, correct?
Correct. No, no.
All right, so I get to be the bearer of bad news and the bearer of good news. So, just to update you, the current budget before this most recent assessment went out, the board had $5,798. As of June 10th, so as of yesterday.
Is this mainly carryover from last year?
That's our carry forward from last year. Yeah. So last year, we basically burned the whole budget doing a larger treatment.
Yep, good, okay.
Yeah. So the good news is we're not carrying a lot of money forward, but we start. So let me back up a little bit. So we have the 5,000, let's just say $6,000, and the assessment's 23,000. So that gives you 29,000, but we have these other, we pay Terry for some of his other work that's not treatment related. There's some costs to, finance staff to send out the assessments and do the liens. So clearly what the Lake Management District collects, we can't do the proposed treatment within that budget. Now, the good news, and I want to, make sure Katie gets some recognition. Katie took it on herself to apply for the milfoil grant, and the city was awarded $75,000 for over the next 2 years for milfoil. We just got notified, what was it, Katie, Thursday last week, Friday? Thursday last week. So we have to negotiate with Ecology, and I believe it's this. The negotiation's most likely going to be, can we show that we have the need for the full amount, which we can easily, with what Terry has presented us, just for this year, show that we can basically use almost all the grant this year. The other good news is, while we're in the process of putting the agreement together, we can spend that money and back bill it starting July 1st. Because that's the state fiscal year, the first day. And so we can probably pull this off with Terry, but we're going to pretty much burn the whole grant.
Can you, I didn't quite understand the back.
Yeah, so the city has to prepare and prepare the agreement with Ecology, and it'll go fast on the city side, but it has to be approved on the Ecology side as well. And so maybe that agreement doesn't get finalized until after Terry treats, because he typically treats early July.
Understood.
But the good news, as long as we have Terry treat after July 1st, we can recoup those costs through the grant.
Got it, thanks.
Yeah, so we're by just luck and happenstance, we're in a pretty good place, because if we were just using the board funds, we would have had to pick winners and losers this year on treatment.
Gotcha.
How much were we eligible for?
75,000.
That's the max.
That
for the
was, we
contract
went for the
amount.
max. Okay. Yeah, we went for the max.
And that's a 2-year.
It's over 2 years, so.
75 each year.
No,
No, total.
So when we put it in, we were thinking that we would only do 35 and 35 because we thought we had a maybe smaller problem. So we maybe still can do that. So we're at that point where literally we found out, we got Terry's information, we got Ecology's information. Now it's the point talking with Ecology and what's the best plan forward. So I think, if the board wants to discuss, I think we can all agree to do the primary areas, the roughly 37 acres. And then try to do the secondary treatment and Camp Murray if we can. And that works out to like 55,000, I think. For just the ALMD portion.
You said 50.
It's in that table, yeah.
57, 8.
57. So if we took half of the,
58,000.
if we took roughly half the grant, let's say, 35,000 plus the LMD, 20,000, we're pretty close to that. So it's possible we'd still have some grant money to expend next year,
It's wise to hold back
a
money.
little bit.
Yeah.
I think you want to have a little money going forward.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey, Weston? I
yeah,
just did a quick calculation. You have you're assuming you have 29,000 in the bank for the LMD this year, 6,000 from last year and 23 coming in this year, roughly.
yeah, that's assuming everyone pays the assessments. We have no liens, no staff costs.
Right.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
ballpark.
I'll bring that up separate. Yeah.
So you got 29,000. Say you spend 20,000 of that out of that fund on the treatment, for 58, from 58,000, that means you're at 38,000 to cover.
Correct.
You take 38,000 out of 75 and you got 37,000 left for next year. Now, those are
Yeah,
ballparks
that's-
and they're gonna change a bit. But so basically, you're in a position that, say you even spend 40,000 of the grant this year, you're probably gonna have 25,000 or something like that left over for additional treatment next year, which is great.
Yep, that's exactly we were thinking, we just planned roughly 35 each year, kind of was our target number, not to, because we don't know when we negotiate with them if they knock that number back. I don't think they will, but, so we were thinking 35 and 35 plus the LMD amount.
But you may come out at 40, 25 or something like
Yep,
that.
exactly.
You're in
exactly.
that ballpark, which is great. My only question is, do you have to take that grant money and do some kind of prorated share with JBLM, or does JBLM still have to come up with the full amount of treating their area? Do they get any benefit out of the grant money, or does the LMD only get benefit out of the grant money?
So my understanding, and that's something we'll talk with Ecology, so we could, I believe with this grant funds, treat on the JBLM property. So then that becomes kind of maybe a question to talk over with JBLM. It's kind of, I don't know what the correct term is, but if we're only going to use the grant funds on the LMD side and none on the JBLM side, yet it's a grant for American Lake.
Well,
So that's
JBLM normally refunds you all the cost of treating their area. But
correct.
would you, one of the questions would be, would you potentially discount their cost by some amount of the grant, and therefore you end up with spending 40 this year, JBLM gets credit for 5,000 and you end up with 20,000 next year. You've got a nice pot here to play with. You can kind of cover all these bases, but that's probably something you guys will have to factor into the discussions.
Correct. So that's where we find ourselves. It's literally the ink's drying on some of these printouts, and we need to touch bases with Ecology, with JBLM, and kind of strategize how to move forward. And we're going to have to wait for the assessments to come in. And then the other question, I want to double check with finance. Can I overspend my budget, or do I need some sort of line of credit or loan? If I'm authorizing Terry to move forward, if I don't have the money in the fund. So I have a lot of things to do on my side to make sure we're in compliance with the city's finance policies, and then working with JBLM.
Understood.
So Katie and I will have a little bit of work ahead of us on that.
I would like to compliment the city.
But the good news is at least we have a good problem of having the grant. If we didn't have the grant, then I think we'd find ourselves in a much more difficult situation
Yes.
right now.
My compliments to Katie and the city.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and it'll be a minimum of 2 years before they would have this program again. And one reason it took so long to know whether or not we got the grant had to do with all the state budget issues. Ecology wasn't sure if the money would come through or not.
Understood.
Good job.
Thank you. Anything else on the
Anything
grant
else?
status
Rich, did you want to say?
or surveys?
All I'd say is that if you know, things work out with legal and everything else, that you guys can fully fund Terry for the full program. Given that the city can then pay back from the grant later in the year.
Yep.
That's, you know, certainly this, I would be a committee member that would recommend doing that. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I think what we've learned with this milfoil over the last 5, 6 years is you knock it back and you got to keep knocking it back. If you let it have any kind of foothold, and I know I've been out there, I've seen it floating all over the place. Boy, it sure can reestablish itself fairly quickly. So yeah, I think we treat it as much as we can. Does the rest of the board agreed with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know what's next. on
Next on the agenda, the last time the board had asked about some of the other treatment chemicals Terry had available. Because it was in that, his report. The other, I would just say the only thing I would mention on that, the other herbicide, is very close to the same price. And we know that Percelicor works very well, so I don't know if we want to open that up. I mean, Terry's recommendation is to Percelicor for the area shown in the map.
I agree.
I
If
agree.
you use
Yeah.
a second class product.
Yeah, because remember, it wasn't as good, but yeah,
The first, I mean. We've got some
Yeah.
of that, so we might as well just keep marching.
here's Terry's supplement. So you can see his actual cost right there. And Terry, for whatever reason, Terry does not escalate his costs. If he did, to the time value of money, we'd be paying much more. So he's very reasonable.
He's the only one that
Correct.
is licensed to do this.
One Percelicor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is the preferred treatment.
Yeah.
Hey,
For
I'd
the
like
C
to,
Pro products.
I agree with what you want to do. A
Well,
comment concerning Aquatechnics. It turns out that for Maidenbauer Bay, it's a Chehalis office that's doing the work for Maidenbauer.
Correct.
And I don't know if
That's
each of their
Terry's office.
offices run differently. Or is
No.
Terry based out of Chehalis? I thought he was out of Bellingham or.
He's out
So,
of Bellingham.
He's out of Bellingham, but like the other day when he was having issues with his mapping software, I think he actually drove down to the Chehalis office to get the map software to work, to get us something in time for the meeting.
Yeah, he stated he was going to do that.
Yeah, so
Okay,
yeah, that's Kyle, I don't remember Kyle.
Langen.
Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, Kyle is out of that office, Kyle Langen, yeah,
I worked with them all.
yeah, okay.
yeah, but Terry does work. I'm amazed the places he goes in the United States to do treatment. He's everywhere. Half the time I call him and he's getting on an airplane somewhere, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm in Lake Tahoe. I'm in Florida. I'm over in Moses Lake. Yeah.
So concerning different treatment types, I think Percelicor is great, the way it's been it opens up the larger fish window, all of that. Because of the discussion earlier about whether we potentially in the future expand the focus of this LMD to potentially additional things such as potentially native aquatic plants. It looks like other types of chemicals would have to come into play. Wouldn't use them now, but if we get into any kind of discussion, not today, but other days, of how we reauthorize and potentially expand this LMD, then I think other chemicals would come into the discussion as well. I would defer to Kurt on that because he knows way better than me, but.
So what my recommendation on that would be to, something like natives. That's gonna be for clearing around a particular dock. That's really all you can do for natives. To give your boat access, swimming access, things like that, according to the permit, the statewide permit. So that really becomes on the onus of the individual landowner to be able to fund that. And I'm already dealing with that a little bit on this filamentous algae with out there at Eagle Point, recommending that they contract with Terry to do the application because he's got the permit.
Correct.
And he can add products to the permit outside of us in order to control other things. And so, and if it was something like, let's just, the yellow flag iris, say, and you had to use some imazapyr on that, then you can add that, but that would kind of be our bailiwick. But if it's an individual landowner that wants a particular area cleared for a different problem, I think like the HOA at there at Eagle Point can afford to hire Terry to do the work that they need to be done. So I don't think we need to be expanding it for natives. I think only we should be expanding for other serious weeds of interest that are invasive.
Okay, good to know.
Hey, real quick, a point of clarification, the ecology grant is specific and only for milfoil, the 75,000.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, just so that's clear.
good to know that too. Great.
You have something else to say, Rich? Rich had a comment?
I think, it's been brought up that there are other invasive species.
Yeah.
And not just plants, some animals, shellfish. And so,
Like quagga mussels,
yeah,
that kind of thing. But we don't currently have that.
we don't have that. And I know we've talked about that in the past, whether or not we should treat all of this. And so I think it's worth continuing that discussion so that,
When you get to the sunset,
yeah,
you
They were
decide what you
prepared
want
for
to
that.
do.
I think it behooves us not to ignore some of those things and have those part of the discussion along the way. So that when it does become a problem, we're prepared.
I think it's good to be able to address those comments when they present themselves with some thoughtful work that we've done up to that point to be prepared for that.
Right.
And, especially if you're gonna frame in a track or a trajectory to expand the scope of the work.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things like even, I'm not sure how this started, but you have a flat budget for 10 years. There's no step in the,
Right.
Yeah.
in that. And then the other question, this is again, thinking a little off the cuff. Let's say you end the 10 years and you have $5,000 left over. Can you take that money into the next 10 years as your seed money and not have to get a loan from the city and then know you're gonna get your assessment come in July or could you roll it over and then that saves you the $2,700, $2,800, things like that. So I think there's a lot of things that the board could kind of put together as questions and comments, maybe have even legal take a look at it, say, can we do this? Can we do this? Or
Get it all
what
teed up so that transition is smooth, because it's coming up pretty quickly.
It is
Yeah.
coming up. And then that RCW, I believe because it's a really long RCW that was quoted. At the end, I believe it has a discussion on lake management formations and I think on reestablishing. I haven't looked at it. I didn't look at those particular sections, so.
So I worked for the Mason Lake Management District for a number of years, and they were on their third rendition
Right.
of their LMD, and they were shorter than they had just, I think it's 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. They just extended for a 15-year period.
Oh, interesting. So you could
Change the time frame.
change timeframe.
Right.
I don't know if 10 was picked because it's in the RCW or if it was picked for convenience or, yeah,
Did you have an escalator?
like, the fee go up
Price.
every year.
Price
No.
adjustment.
Oh.
No, it was fixed for the
Yeah,
15 years,
for the 10 years.
so it
that-
didn't adjust with inflation. It
I
didn't.
don't think it did, no.
No.
No, he's asking for Mason Lake.
Oh, for Mason Lake, I don't know about that.
No.
I think they had to just, re-vote on it again each year with the new number.
So I would suggest embedding a inflationary.
Yeah, either a
adjustment
step
I
or
think it's-
every, yeah.
It's a past year's CPI,
Yep.
so that way it's
Something like
always relative to.
Because if Terry's cost ever
They will,
tracked,
yeah, they will.
which it could happen next year, because when I go to negotiate the addendum with them.
Yep.
Or C-Pro charges more,
Yeah.
And Terry-
Or the product goes up.
Terry may not always be there, yeah.
With you.
Or maybe we go out for an RFP and Terry doesn't bid, somebody else, so. I think there's a number of things the board could put together
Do you know
to get us
when,
set for that next time period.
do you know when that agreement on by C-Pro? Terry has it for the west of the Rocky Mountains for how long?
I
do you
don't know anything about his proprietary.
Well, no, it's,
Well, we'll
it's
see.
agreement with C-Pro, and
Right.
they had a sunset on that. I'm not sure exactly. Because they wanted to have it trained applicators for a period of time.
Right.
So 2019 is the first time it came out for Washington, so.
Who's C-Pro?
C-Pro is the manufacturer of Sportselicor.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, they make a lot of different products.
I would suggest that maybe after this treatment year, certainly next year, but we hold a special meeting dedicated only to the discussion of how we might want to continue and or modify the LMD,
Sure, that's fair.
because I think it would take up too much time in regular meetings. It'd be more like a ideas meeting put together that we could
Who's
begin
the
to
seventh?
vet either with the public or amongst ourselves about ideas about how we would want to.
Counting to
do
2019
it.
and 2020.
But I think we're all thinking about the same thing, that if we get a 2 to 3 year ahead
I guess it's 6
planning
year.
start on it, then we might be in good shape. Because you're probably gonna wanna have a vote on it a year before it would renew. So that you could have like a seamless transition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be good.
Okay. Well, with that, I guess we'll move to the last two items. One is the liens. I'll pass it around. This
Same old ones?
LMD is paid pretty well. These are our current liens, and you'll see it's a pretty small amount. For whatever reason, we cannot get a hold of that Thornwood Beach Club.
True.
You know anybody here?
I know.
Do you want to call any of your friends? I'll pass it down to friends and neighbors. The amount is silly, so that's kind of hard to.
These have been pretty
Oh, you got
standard since
$200 lien, okay, yeah.
over the last
So
couple
what-
of meetings. I'd say 3, 4, 5 meetings.
Who is
It's
it?
been about the same.
Or someone on Silcox, there's this, they have a new truck there.
It's a pretty small list, though.
Yeah,
David
for over
Hanshaw.
300, people who
Over three.
paying
Yeah,
5.
It's on my board.
that's typically what happened. The other one I had last year was really
David Henshaw
weird.
is on
We
my-
worked it out with them.
on
We
my
didn't
fair
charge them all the
Oh,
monies.
Well, you gotta, yeah.
It was a young couple. off
Isn't
the
Randy
veterans
Foley
on that portion that
Thornwood
goes down the
Beach?
lake? They had a house in Puyallup and a house in Lakewood, and they had their bills like sent to the wrong place, and
So Rich, who do you know at the Thornwood Beach Club? Isn't Randy Foley on that?
I think so. I.
Oh, Putnam?
so I'll tell you what, I'll leave that list with you guys. Want to take it with you? We have it electronically. If you, again, I'm not trying to, pressure anybody. I'm not a collection agency. but-
Well, no, it's like you live on the lake, we have this program. Just own up to your responsibilities of,
And they may not even, they may not have it. They may have lost it.
well, the thing is, we have,
Somebody could pass, we've had it, people have passed away, people have sold their property. We've had all different reasons. I was telling Rich about one, the family had their mail sent to Puyallup that they lived on. So,
who lives at 29 Country Club?
What's the name?
Just says 29 country clubs.
One of them is
There's
a
no name.
blank
Oh, that's the LLC?
law.
Yeah, 29cc LLC.
Okay, that just changed hands,
Oh,
just in the
And
last
that's pretty common.
6 months.
I had one over on that northwest corner like
Maybe
that
it's
2
in
years ago.
last year. It was
is it
the end
near
of last year.
the Grant Sold House?
Well, it's number
Mark Grant?
29, so it's
It's 3 doors from there.
Okay.
Most time it's not malicious. Let's put it that way.
We're not saying it is, would be
Yeah.
malicious. It's just,
I'll ask.
Yeah. And it's very few people. And
I
finance
missed my
takes
first
care
year.
of it like that.
because it went to my sister-in-law over in Pullman.
And that's exactly, I was telling Rich about a couple that it went to their old house in Puyallup, but they lived on American Lake now, so
Yeah,
young couple, so.
it went to our LLC. My sister-in-law.
So the
All right.
last item is, when would you like to meet in September?
I would recommend the 17th or 18th, which is a Wednesday or Thursday, or the 24th or 25th, which is a Wednesday or Thursday. Well, that got silence.
I'm trying to pull up,
Everyone's looking at their phones.
yeah, trying to get to the calendar here, and I keep getting distracted.
I'm open to other dates, but I just thought I'd throw some out.
You said
Yeah, anything.
17 or 18
Anything in here, Rich.
September, is that what you said?
Yeah. Or-
17th is a Wednesday, 18th is a Thursday. Katie, you got your calendar?
Yeah, I'm-
24, 25 is the following week.
The following
Wednesday
week,
through-
yeah. I
And
just have to put the trash out, that's all I got on there.
Any particular date that works better than another? I want to tentatively go with the 17th.
Yeah, let's
And
do
then-
that.
I'll put it as tentative and then, send it out to the other board members and try to follow up with,
well, I hope our two, the JBLM and our,
Camp Murray.
Camp Murray people are still the active people that they haven't changed names or.
Well, that's a true statement. And the other
Yeah.
one that I found with both those organizations is, because they don't pay as high as like Pierce County. I've had, I think twice now, staff have gone from there over to Pierce County.
Yeah, Thomas and Todd.
Yeah, so hopefully they're still there, hopefully, yeah. And then the meeting in September, the city clerk actually, her daughter graduates tonight, so she'll come and do the training on about public meetings and public records requests and everything related to that. She wasn't able to come tonight, so. That will be the agenda item. Do you have any other agenda items? I mean, it's awfully early, so,
Treatment window time.
oh, yes, so treatment window times.
I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I don't remember what Terry had said.
Well, we've had several
Oh,
residents.
that's right. We have several residents have asked us to bring the treatment window time earlier, but I don't remember the limits on the permit.
We've had two specifically call and heavily complain about the treatment time being in July and that it should be earlier.
Should be earlier, but
Biologically, I
For there.
disagree.
Oh, well.
so,
I just said
So,
I would bring their
Why is Kurt?
Uh,
Because of the
complaints to the
milfoil
board.
itself.
Yeah, milfoil itself.
do you
It
have
needs to
the
grow
list,
enough. We
Lake
get the
Constance?
biomass to be able to take in the.
It's somewhere in that.
So Weston, that's a good response. If they need, Eurasian milfoil needs to have biomass.
Okay.
Treating earlier doesn't
So
work.
this is to help Katie in responding. Katie deals with a lot of the
Complaints.
comments.
Okay, what'd you say, Kurt?
What I'm saying is that I get this comment a lot too. About people saying, well, it should be done before 4th of July because
Right,
we need to have the water clear. Okay, well, you can't force biology. You have to have enough plant growth to be able to take up it's a systemic herbicide, gets taken up by the plants and translocated to the roots. If there's not enough of that biomass for the root structure, then you're not gonna actually do the total kill that you want. That's why early July is better than mid-June.
Good point.
Want to get
That
this
really
bang
becomes
for
a
your
bit.
buck.
Go
it
ahead,
really
Jeff.
is kind of weather dependent too, because like this June,
Yes.
the growing season down there is really good for the plants. We've had a lot of sun, a lot of hot days. And at least around our docks, it's growing pretty well, not like it would be in early July. But, you know, if you have a cloudy, rainy June, then, you know,
Yeah,
mid-July
June,
is
June.
about when you need to be before the plants are big enough.
So the other thing I would say is turn that over to Terry. That question to him. I'm sure he's gonna say something similar to what I said, but I'd like to have it come from the applicator.
Yeah.
In order
That's a
to
good
be able
point.
to pass that along, says, this is what the
From the
professional
professional,
applicator,
exactly.
professional applicator says is best for timing for our conditions.
Yeah, and then the other table Katie has there, she has a compilation of all the calls, emails, messages that come into the city from people about
Locations.
weeds around their dock. And kind of the challenge is we can't just say, well, yeah, your weed is milfoil or not milfoil. But we give them the standard response, you know, the Priscilla core treats milfoil, other plants may be there. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
so,
your gentleman from Eagle Point is on there.
yeah, so
Brian
Weston
Hagel.
wanted me to compile a list of not only this year's reports that have come in, but post-treatment reports
Yeah,
from last
everything.
year. So yes, Kurt, you were on there.
Yeah.
And then these are the reports from this year.
And
And
we send that to Terry.
two specifically residents were commenting about the treatment window. So I said I would take their
Yes, Jeff
concerns to the
Jeff
board.
gave me a call last year too.
All Hagel.
This year.
Yeah.
Who the others were.
Kelly, Lori
Kelly.
Kelly.
Angus, you know Angus. You know, most of
So-
these people.
Well, they're your neighbors, so.
Yeah. Well,
So
a
to
lot of these,
speak.
Jeff Cox is on there 3 times, so that's okay.
Yeah, Jeff, you commented too.
What did I comment on?
You're on the list.
You're on the
Post-
list.
2024 reports about milfoil.
Reports, milfoil did not die back.
Which milfoil?
Yeah, part of the,
Well, yeah.
I'm getting comments from other people on Silcox Island that are
Yeah.
saying that they felt it hadn't died back. There's a question of whether it really has died back or whether we're seeing some native milfoil and or we're definitely seeing some other native aquatic plants. And in part, it's an education issue about what they're seeing, but the other is that there did appear to be some lack of effectiveness of some of the treatment, or some of the treatment didn't actually go around parts of Silcox Island. It went on probably.
So I took, Wes, you know, probably call me Wes, gee. I know, I took him out on the lake last year,
Okay.
around Silcox, Island, over there on the VA side. Because we have a lot of comments about that, about it not dying back fast enough. So we did some sampling. And found out that basically it was curling up, but not as fast as I've seen
Oh,
before.
So it was killing the plant.
It was
but
killing the
not-
plant, but it wasn't seem to be as, for the timing, it didn't seem to be as cut back as much. But when it went back and looked at it, it was totally gone.
It seemed to take longer last year because
Yeah, I believe so too. That's just kind of my impression.
in
Yeah,
the
I was
fall, it was
um,
gone. But, you know, within 2 to 3 weeks after the treatment, it didn't look like, it really hadn't died back as much as you would have expected, so.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that too. So that's what I'm for on this lake, is to go out and look at stuff.
Yeah, And the thing I've been trying to coordinate with Terry is making sure he give us enough time that I can let the board know if they want to go with Terry out on the lake. But this last time
Yeah.
Terry had like 1 day or 2 days and he'd get out there and he gave
Yeah.
us notice the same day, but typically he gives us a little bit more notice.
Well, even if it's the same day notice. Say yes or no.
So I do my best to, we put the email out on when the survey occurred. But Terry's a busy guy and he fits us in, you know,
Yeah.
where he can, so. So that's everything on the agenda. The last thing I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna give these 2 files to Kate as the chair. So here's the formation documents. And there's the Weir outfall document. And that way, you can share those with your fellow residents, with,
You know, I don't want to start.
if you don't
sharing
want to,
the-
you don't
No,
have
just a
to.
second. No. I wouldn't share the weird stuff because if it has a lot of anxiety to it.
Yeah,
So I
does.
let me
don't,
double check something real quick in this, yeah, beforehand.
um,
Make sure I got all the LMD stuff.
I mean, the history is one thing.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into a
What am I
public
checking
discussion
for?
with
Did
residents.
we put anything from the
About
meeting in here?
Oh,
This looks
I
like
think
it.
we need to have a plan to, in order to move forward.
So I'm gonna give it to you. So just hold on to it. It's up to you what you want to share, but I mean, you talk to your neighbors. You know, the
As I-
neighbors are gonna call you guys first before they call the city, but at least you have at least the
Not
facts in your
necessarily.
hand. Yeah,
I think that we should develop the plan of how we're going to move forward. If American Lake Improvement
well,
Club is going
right,
to
well,
be,
you and Kurt,
so we can talk about,
Yeah.
you know. Nobody's come to me and asked me about the Weir.
right,
I mean, I know about the Weir, but it's not, it's happened
Right.
here and it's happened at the American Lake Improvement meeting. So it's
Yeah.
only certain people that seem to have some angst about it or what's going on and I'm sorry, Mr. Russell, I mean, he has a lot of experience, but getting really upset about it,
Poorly said.
it was not the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's
it's a
understood,
cactus, but-
and that's part of being in city government. I will say, every email that he sends is looked at, every email that goes to council is looked at, you
Yeah.
know, the city manager's made aware of every single one of them. It doesn't necessarily mean city needs to take action.
Right.
Or like on the Weir outfall, we had already had multiple meetings with county and talked with legal and the city manager on that, well before it became an issue.
Yeah,
But anyway, at least you have the raw documents there, the originals there. That's all public records. Anyhow, we have it all electronic.
well, this would be good because I could make copies and then
If somebody asks you, yeah,
I was thinking about as we look forward to the end, the sunset and the beginning.
Right.
To know what maybe we should be looking at or thinking about ahead of time.
I think
because-
we need about a 2-year time period, the last 2 years of the LMD to start addressing those issues. And so how do we want to formulate the next round?
yeah. I think that's a good forethought. So I'm assuming, from the comments we've had, that everyone's happy with the LMD, how it's been working. Because if we don't treat the milfoil,
That's what it was.
it's
for.
just gonna take over the lake.
That's what it was like,
Yeah.
like Jeff said, and we were very cognizant of the fact that we had never done this before with this group of
Right.
citizens. We didn't know what our response was gonna be. We needed to be narrow focused. We needed to be cost conscious. And once we put that together the way we did, it went through just fine. It doesn't mean that we can't do something next time.
Something else, but
Right,
but like you're saying, you're gonna have to lay that out real
exactly,
clearly so
Yep.
that anyone can pick it up and go, oh yeah, I'm behind that.
right.
You start now talking about it, we could.
I mean, if we were, Silicon Lake with every year they got toxicology and all that kind of stuff, that would be a different, Don Russell's right, we do have some toxicology, but not like Wahop or Silicon or, over there in, Puyallup. Where that lake is over there. But anyway, we do have it, but it's hard to know how to treat that when it comes up and goes away within a week or two.
Well, and I'll tell you specifically on the one he's talking about from last fall. Lakewood, I worked with the health department. We put all the signs up. We had staff go out almost daily. We took the samples. We did
Yeah.
all that. But then, like you say, it went away because
Yeah.
it finally got cold enough and windy enough. It was gone.
Right.
Yeah, but there was a small bloom near the American Lake Park just because we had a nice fall.
Yeah, we just had some, where I live on the northeast edge too, because we're on the windblown side.
And then just because you have a scum form doesn't necessarily mean it's toxic.
Right.
You have to test it to determine that.
Correct.
Yeah. But it can change quickly, so we're very aware of that. I mean, even today on Wahop, I was even talking with health department, so. Yeah. We can
Yeah.
test it Wahop twice this year, actually send
Yeah, so
special
that's-
samples off, so.
So
That's a whole, I don't want to get into Wahop.
So we just have to concentrate on what is,
The,
the most important things. There's gonna be other issues around the edges that we're gonna have to, deal
Yep.
with, as they come up.
well, it's better to get it all out, talk about it right
Yeah.
up front. Well, thank you very much. So that's our
Anything?
plan, more to go, we'll let you know how our conversations go with ecology, but that timing window when this is all gonna kind of collapse together is gonna be pretty short. Right now, the plan is to try to fund everything Terry put out there. Excellent. Sorry, Rich, I don't mean to be turning my back to you.
Any other comments from anyone?
Rich,
Seeing
great
none?
working with you.
Meeting
Great
is
working.
adjourned.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 5:53
Yeah,
PM.
you're off the hook.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Good meeting. Thanks, everybody.
How do I do?
Hey, Jeff.
Oh,
Big deal.
well,
Appreciate you being.
stop.
It's only if you're welcome anytime.